You're looking at an 8 by 10 inch oil on panel painting of Cherries in a Basket. It's painted by Groat Sr., an artist from upstate New York who has exhibited internationally and paints in a impressionist style. As I move up, you'll notice that there's all sorts of interesting brush strokes, overlapping, interwoven brush strokes with all sorts of color subtleties. A lot of excitement in the surface. And it's interesting to see the technique he's used to paint the actual basket. Real intense brush strokes. Then there's this incredible sense of backlight coming from the window directly behind the basket, creating this real dramatic cast shadow. I recently asked the artist, why did you decide to paint cherries? I mean, you're a landscape painter. And he told me that 4 years old, he used to pick cherries and actually try to sell them door to door. He picked them from a local orchard just outside of Syracuse. I guess he sold them for 10 cents for a quart and then 2 for a quarter. And I guess he was never good at math, so that explains it. So, you know, there's that sense of history behind these pieces. Groat's statement about his wonderful painting of Cherries in a Basket. He states, "My cherries are in a handmade willow basket that has a history of its own. It was woven in Liverpool, New York over 100 years ago when the willow basket industry was in its heyday. Many shades of red are used to achieve the rich, inviting basket of the cherries. My goal as an artist is not to render my subject as many photorealists do, but rather suggest my subject to create a lasting impression each day. The eye will detect hidden nuances that are not seen in one glance. I find slick realism often devoid of the richness obtained by the world's greatest artists. Painters like Rembrandt, who created a sense of realism through his tiny brush marks, has stood the test of time. Many photorealists work simply in such a way that lacks personality, and thousands of art lovers who collect agree with this observation." The artist also believes he's a wonderful poet and story writer, and he wrote this little anecdote called, "Did you cut down the cherry tree, George? When your first president was a boy, he had a hatchet. It was the new hatchet, and with this hatchet he cut down a cherry tree. When his father asked him, 'George, did you cut down the cherry tree?' George decided to tell the truth and answered, 'Yes.' His father was pleased with his son's honesty, as the legend goes." And then he went on to describe, "Cherries are a favorite food to many and make great pies and turnovers. But to the artist they present a challenging subject for still life painting. As the light of the day increases, the multiple highlights seem to dance all around, as I have depicted in my still life." And I guess we can see that. "As long as people like George Washington, father of our country, refrain from using a hatchet on them, we painters will go on using them as subject matter in the form of pies or in bowls and baskets. Believe me, it takes willpower to keep from eating them before the art is complete." And I'm sure that's the case with a lot of artists.